4:59, close enough. Had the mic off for the first second, but I remembered I'm being a good streamer today, and we are doing the thing correctly. Hello, gang. What's up, everybody? How we doing? How's everybody doing? Waiting for that notification to roll in. Be cool if it rolled in like right at 5 o'clock. Oh, YouTube. Bam. Vlogging coming back? Yes, vlogging is coming back. Gang, I am excited. This video is one that I enjoy, but so far, YouTube doesn't quite very well. But that's okay. It happens, you know? Trying not to let it get me down. It's kind of annoying, because, like, I don't know. I get that, what they call analysis paralysis, and, like, I sit there and stare at the views and the whatnot for the first ever. But anywho, what's up, gang? How we doing? Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody is well today. We're gonna just hop right in. Director's commentary, episode 29. We're almost to the 30th podcast. I would love to do something special for the 30th, because, like, I think there's a statistic out there that talks about there's a very, very small percentage of people that make it to 10 episodes, and of that group of people, an even smaller percentage makes it to like 20 or something like that. I'll have to look it up. But we're getting there. We're booking it. So I appreciate everyone who's watched and hung out with whether either live or elsewhere. I appreciate it. Without further ado, gang. Without further ado, we have switch over to the director's chair. The little setting I have for this view is called director's chair. I think it's kind of funny. Anywho, I've been working on these new earbuds, so I'm gonna have to sit here and adjust my volume for half a second, because it might be too loud for me, and I don't want to adjust it on your end, or else it'll mess everything up. We should be.
This week's vlog is about vlogs.
I think my phone's just having trouble loading this stupid thing. Okay. I'm gonna have chat up on my phone. Get everything straightened away. Okay. And let's get into it, gang.
This week's vlog is about vlogs.
I have an idea. I want to do the closed captions. I think I did that last time, or started towards the end, and I thought it was pretty good. So this week's vlog is about vlogs. Let's check it out. This was an interesting shot right here. So I was kind of expecting it. The way I was looking at it on my camera, it looked different because I was looking at it backwards. But this is obviously this is the doorknob. This is like this, you can't see. This big tan blob in the bottom is actually a cabinet, and the red down here is countertop. So like I had it on top. I had the camera on top of my cabinet, shooting down, trying to get an interesting shot there, which with the lines and everything, it kind of looks cool. I didn't expect the doorknob to be up here. I expected the doorknob to be closer, like onto the right side, towards the bottom. I had it all flipped in my head, but I mean, I could have adjusted it in the edit, but I don't know. I just didn't want to. I guess for one reason or another, there was a decision made to where I didn't want to change that necessarily. So, yeah. I love this shot right here. Actually, I want to talk about this little sequence right here. So we go back a little bit. We have the shot where my car is like real square, real pretty like. First of all, the ground is so unlevel. Like I'm on a hill. So the car, I leveled the shot with the car. As you can see, the ground is actually way sloped. And you can tell because I do believe this garden bed here is level. So like the ground is just way, way sloped. So I wanted to make something. I didn't want to level out the ground, because the camera has a little leveling feature that if you do it a certain way, like if you line it up, it's with the earth or like with how the camera is. I think it's got some kind of setting on it, but yeah, I made the car level that way. That's because that's the focus of the shot anyway. And if you're focused on the car, it doesn't really matter. The rest, whether it's crooked or not, doesn't really matter. But this is a cool shot because it crops in, but it's super high resolution in this crop, and there's a reason for that, because this first shot that I made, I set this up, I pretended to open the door of my car, and then I went back and I zoomed it in with the camera. I did a crop, but like manually with the camera, as opposed to doing it in the edit and trying to line it up. I legit just left the camera sitting there, zoomed it in, walked back, did the whole thing over again. So if you look really, really closely, my hand is slightly different. So like my fingers on this are a little more open, and then here they're a little more closed. And it's one of those things you're never gonna notice this unless you like go back and pay really, really close attention, 4K, zoom it in really good, like do all the FBI things. But no, that's a fun fact that I actually zoomed this in, and I kind of like this actually for one reason or another. I enjoyed, because when you zoom it in on the editor, I think you slightly, and I mean slightly, lose resolution. But this is straight out of the camera. It's just zoomed in, so it's like as good as it's gonna get. It's a shame. This dude was so loud. He was hollering at me all morning, and I never did catch him like actually cock-a-doodle-doodling. But I heard it. I just never saw, because he was like right. It was this guy right here, this main one in focus. It was him. He was just hollering all morning long. It was crazy. They've been loud lately. The roosters. They've been out. They've been crazy. What did you say? What did you say? Did a lot of this is probably honestly one of my favorite shots of the whole video, just because it's so square, so just nice and everything. It's nice whenever there's a countertop or a table or something like that to like really get that shot lined up. If you can tell if that countertop's level with the shot, then everything else is gonna go nice and smooth. Like it's really, really good, really satisfying to have that. But yeah, I really enjoy this shot. One of my favorites of the whole video.
An essential part.
It's annoying. I was trying to line this up to where it would be exact, and I got almost everything except the caramel back here in the back. It rotated just a little bit because I put it back in the same spot. It just rotated a little, and I put label on the wrong side, so it ended up looking weird. Other than that, it was pretty.
An essential part of the vlogger's day is coffee.
But I tell you what, it's crazy the amount of vloggers that I've ever watched that are like obsessed with coffee. It's crazy. But I guess, I don't know, I think it's people in general, and it just happens to be that vloggers really, really thoroughly enjoy coffee as well. Like, everyone loves coffee, or that's a lie. Not everyone does, but a lot of people enjoy coffee. But vloggers tend to dominate that demographic. Had a lot of fun with this B-roll, this whole intro sequence, which was pretty long. This was a good shot too. I really like this shot actually. Honestly, I didn't do this intentionally, but I'm just thinking about it. And this whole intro sequence, like I don't start properly telling the story until about a minute or so in, which is very anti-YouTube. But also, the video previous was about shorts and how I'm not doing them anymore, and how, watch the full X minute video instead of 30 seconds. So I'm okay with a long-winded, especially because it's like really interesting. I try to make it visually interesting all the time. And actually, there was a video I made a little while back that I was talking about, I really wanted to try and make that week's vlogs as visually interesting as possible. And that was those vlogs during that particular week really, really reminded me of more current vlogs, because they just have the same vibe. Like, you can tell there's so much more care put into getting those shots lined up. This was actually really cool. We had to slow down really far right here. We had to slow down like way crazy because these trucks were in front of us. They were pulling off into this little truck thingy. And I don't know, it's just pretty neat shot. Something you don't see every day. Boom. Dude, I'm telling you, a lot of these shots I be getting, this is gonna be the commentary where I just geek over all the shots that I've gotten in this video. I really like this shot, cause like the rule of thirds is like a really predominant thing in filming photography, but like this is almost the rule of half, right? The subject. Well, I guess technically I'm in the middle third, and then there's the crap on the right and the context, I guess, on the right and the left. But the car almost takes up half the shot, and in a way, I really like how that looks. For one reason or another, because like it's, the subject is on the right or the left, and then whatever else to fill up the space. But this is also kind of cool because it's a creative way to crop out my license plate. Kind of try and keep that stuff sort of private, because like that's just stupid things happen. But yeah, I think it's a pretty dope thing. Also, this GoPro mount that I installed right here on the bottom of my front bumper, I used it once. I installed it for one purpose and one purpose only, and I've not used it since, which I kind of want to, but also I kind of installed it in a hurry, and it was rainy, and it's one of those curved adhesives, so like it's not fully stuck on there. It's stuck enough to like stick, but it's not. I don't fully trust it. I could see it coming off like any day now. But got somebody else popping in. What's up? Again, this shot, I love it. It's really one of those that it's what they call an establishing shot. So like this is where I am. But it's also kind of interesting because you can really see the scale of like, small human over here and house. I don't know, I think it's really cool. It's really interesting to me. But I like the shot. I had the Gorilla Pod wrapped around the basketball hoop, like the vertical beam, and it holds it up. It actually was pretty cool. I was playing basketball today actually, and I was getting some footage. Because I had an idea for another video, and I want to get some footage just in case I use it. But it was not working out really well because it was just the Gorilla Pod was ever so slightly slipping down the pole, which was really annoying. But what are you gonna do? But anyway, point is, I really like this shot. Very nice and square. Very whatever that guy's name is, Wes Anderson. Although it needs to be more saturated colors for that to be the case.
I believe that vlogging is coming back, and here's why. Back in the early mid-2010s, vlogging really became a big thing on YouTube. And it got extremely popular when Casey Neistat started to vlog. A lot of folks say that he like...
So it's funny, because all the footage, like the main footage, with the A-roll, is from that Friday. Friday's my filming day. That's usually when I get all the A-roll, at least. And then the B-roll, like almost all the B-roll, I recorded. Like I did the edit almost to completion. And then I recorded, like I wrote down. So how I did it, let me go back a little bit. So I did the whole edit, right? All the A-roll, like the main story, everything was set up. The edit was completed just about. But like 90% of the video was talking head shot, which I want to avoid, right? So I got the edit done. Knew what everything was about, and then I went through, rewatched it a few times, wrote down a shot list of B-roll I wanted to acquire. So then with that, what I did, I just, spent the next however long. I had the edit almost complete, and I just went through, down the list, and shot this, shot this, shot this. That way it was very deliberate. I could do it quickly, and so on and so forth. So I got like screenshots and screen recordings and stuff like that, and this is what all this over here is. And also there's something I love to do. I've started doing it recently. If ever I use a screenshot from like online or like a screen recording, I always add that mouse click sound effect to activate that visual. Because somewhere I saw this, I don't remember, but it was like an editor or somebody was talking about, tips for retention, things like that. One thing they're talking about was that if ever there's a visual cue or something, like if something new pops up onto the screen, you sort of want to also call attention to their audible sense. So like if there's something that's coming up that you want them to pay attention to, activate that somehow and provide an extra, hey, pay attention. So that way, so when these things pop up on the screen, not only is it a sound effect to activate that thing coming up on screen, but the way I've thought of it is it's contextual. So it's a computer.
Here's why. Back in the early mid-2010s, vlog
click, and boom, you're at a search bar. And then you have also the typing sound effect.
Vlogging really became a big thing on YouTube. And it got...
So that just adds a little extra layer. Sound design, baby. Sound design is something I've paid a lot more attention to as of late. My good buddy Evan Lindy has been preaching the sound design, because his sound design is phenomenal. He makes some really good stuff. He's also like has a past history in music in general, like mixing and things of that nature.
extremely
Cool stuff, though.
popular when Casey Neistat started to vlog. A lot of folks say that he like pioneered the genre, which I don't disagree with. But then I think one
Also, I mentioned, I think it was the last director's commentary, where whenever I do this shot right here, where I'm like in my room sitting on a chair, have my camera on the desk, whatnot, I had trouble the last time I made a video like this where I didn't move the camera enough, so the shot was the same, and it was very boring. It was the same shot over and over and over and over again. The angle never changed. This time I was very deliberate, like every time in the recording, every time I said something, like I got a thought out into the camera, I changed angle. Every time. And that way, every sentence or whatever, the angle, the shot changed. So it just, the same information's coming out of my mouth, but, the background and the shot that you're looking at is slightly different, and it changes your perspectives ever so slightly. It's one of those things. I think I did a better job at it this time. I want to just make it into a habit.
Once Mr. Beast started getting really, really big, and creators like him started getting really, really big, vlogging sort of took the back seat.
Very sad time.
Stopped being as
so
popular.
good. I love it.
So now in this moment in time, we're about almost halfway through the 2020s.
Bruh. That's something. I didn't want to like interject into the video, but when I was in my head right now, I'm like, dang, bro, that's crazy. We're almost halfway through the 2020s already. Holy moly, guacamole.
Based on what I've seen,
Holy guacamole. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. That's an old GareTheBear meme.
Starting to see people start to pull away from that Mr. Beast big spectacle style of video, and they're starting to lean more towards individuals.
See, that was a fun little thing. So, one of the things, I'm going to shout out Evan Lindy again, one of the things he put me on was Epidemic Sound, and particularly the stems from Epidemic Sound. So what you can do, if you can download the music track just in full, but you can also download the stems, which that's like melody, instrumentals, bass, drums, etc. Right? There's little, so you can only have instrumentals, the same song, the exact same length and everything, just you have only the guitar, or you only have the drums, or you only have the bass, right? So it's really, really cool. So for this, during sort of the, I mentioned earlier about, activating the next thing that's going to pop up on screen, what I've done is this is the thing I've practiced a lot, is, with sound design, because it's super important, but you sort of want to hint that it's getting ready to change, the scene's getting ready to change.
From that,
so Mr. you have your background music.
Beast, big spectacle style of
here,
video, and they're starting to lean more towards.
And then we have that riff start up again.
Individuals.
Boom. And then see, it went from, it was quiet there for a second, there wasn't any background music, and then we have a little riff, you're like, okay, music's back, okay, and then, boom. As you would expect, because that music, in our subconscious, you start to hear a certain melody or a certain progression of notes or whatever, and you think it should be coming next as far as like beats or whatever, and so that is a satisfying thing to cut to the next scene with.
Look at all those leaves up there. They're all turning
Bro, this was
red.
so cool. At first, when I was first looking at this, like in real life, I thought those were cardinals, but they definitely weren't. Which was, it is what it is. But no, I thought it actually was, because there's a ton of them around here. But that was like, man, that's just so many. That's so many in one spot. There's no way. But it was, that one particular spot in that tree is just turning red all of a sudden. Which the leaves are starting to change, which is really, really nice. Really, really pretty. Which, in turn, is going to lead to some epic, very, very beautiful cinematic footage in these vlogs coming up. But alas, let us continue.
Really, I think anymore on YouTube, people are really craving that relationship, because that's been something that's, it feels like it's been lacking for a while, for the last couple of years. You've been getting premium content, but you haven't merely been getting that deeper connection. In some ways, I think
it's such a true thing. Colin and Samir were talking in their podcast, and they were referring to this, something similar, where, you feel like the Mr. Beast era, I hate to say the Mr. Beast era, because, like, it makes it sound like it's his fault, But really, it's not necessarily him. It's the people that are copying him that are like trying to replicate his stuff that like are getting obnoxious. But they were mentioning how the videos particularly are great. The video is awesome. The subject matter is awesome, but you don't have a connection to the creator or the creative behind it, right? You kind of feel like Mr. Beast seems to me like a big entity, not necessarily a guy that makes YouTube videos, right? And that's how it feels like that a lot now with all these channels that have these big teams of people, and they have a bunch of crew working on each YouTube video, like making it as big as possible, which you can't blame them for the effort, but at the same time that personable effect sort of goes away because it's just you got to do what you got to do. But it kind of sucks. So that's why I miss vloggers, like big vloggers. And I know there's people that make vlogs out there, which I've tried. I need to get better at it. I need to like really get into it and like invest some time. I'm trying to like go through and find new vloggers and like YouTube people that I can get invested in and like become part of the community or whatever, and like watch their vlogs. I just haven't really gone and done it, but I need to because that'd be a fun thing to do.
That's part of why podcasting has gotten so big. It's because that's an intimate conversation. It's real. It's raw. But with the, quote, beastification of YouTube...
That's facts, though. The podcasting scene is huge now because it's that thing. I think people are just craving that human type. I think I thought about this when I was in the making of this video. Was like, a thought I had was the pandemic, you kind of just wanted... During the pandemic, you wanted that high spectacle, high action... but